Alright, this is a test match. I'm using the Splash version of Survival Rock. Just a swamp go. That's not too bad. Leave with a forest. Yeah, looks like a mirror match, I would think. Gonna go Wall of Roots, hopefully into Graveborn Muse. Dust Bowl, interesting. Yeah, looks like regular rock. Let's see how this goes then. Pernicious Deed can be a little bit difficult to deal with, but overall I don't think it should be bad. And actually, if they're playing significant discard, I wouldn't mind just landing a Nightmare, keeping it safe in play. Perfect timing. That worked out exactly the way I hoped it would. Just blanking a duress the precise turn before. Yeah, I'm sure they'll be taking my Muse now. And I can get it back with Recurring Nightmare. However, I don't want to use the Recurring Nightmare until I can immediately replay it. Because they can, well, I don't know. If they flash back the therapy right now, then I can afford to have the Nightmare in my hand a little bit, but as long as that card's in the graveyard. Oh, okay, good, they're doing it. They must be hitting the Muse now. Alright, they're going for Masticore, and that is okay. Play the Muse, end the turn. Pernicious Deed. Okay. Yeah, time to get that. Oh man, if only I had my white. Yeah, time to get that Recurring Nightmare safely out of the way. Really don't want it to get scooped up by Deed. How do I want to play this? Hmm. How much can I afford to lose here? I definitely want to use a Nightmare, but what do I want to get back with it? If I got Masticore, it could regenerate when they activate the Deed, which would be pretty tricky for them. So that's one route to consider. Alternatively, I could just get back like Wall of Blossoms or something. Maybe, I don't know, hope to draw a City of Brass. I should probably just get back the Masticore. Puts a nice clock on the board. I've got Octavia Rainatane, which I'm okay discarding. Yeah, that should be fine. See what the opponent's doing now. Looks like they're using the Deed. on their turn, so I'll regenerate the Masticore. Excellent. Yeah, that was not so bad at all. First I'll attack. Put them at 11. And this is interesting. I'm not sure how exactly to follow up. So I could play Survival, but I don't really have the green to immediately kick it into gear. It might make sense to to actually sacrifice the Masticore and get the Muse back, and then also play the Survival. That sounds pretty good, actually. If they have a second Deed, that's a bit of an issue, but I'll still have the Nightmare in my hand, so I'm in good shape regardless. Alright, yeah, looks like they got my Nightmare. That is too bad. They have Volrath's Stronghold, but that should matter. No, not an especially large amount, I would think. Let's attack for 3. I'm definitely in a good spot here. How do I want to do this? I'll discard the Orangutan. Do I just get Wall of Roots here? I mean, Tempting Worm would be pretty nice, actually, but they can use Stronghold to get back a block. Well, I guess they could immediately... I guess I could immediately kill it, but then I would need to see what they draw. I don't know. I'm going to play the wall here. This will solidify my position if they draw well. If they find their answers, I can push through them using this approach. So discard now, and go get Squee, end the turn. Yeah, at this point, I can, even if they deed and blow it up, which of course they can't even do for the right amount, I can discard the Squee and I guess either get Hermit or, oh, yeah, that looks like they can do it for 2, which, I mean, that's just not going to cut it. But yeah, I can get Genesis, which is fantastic, or I can get Deranged Hermit, which is also really good. What do I want here? Do I just want the Genesis? Alright, so considering how this will play out, if I get Genesis, they blow up Deed immediately. If I get Deranged Hermit, they have to choose between letting me do more survival stuff or not having the Deed when the Hermit lands. They're both pretty appealing. I'm going to take the Genesis. It's the more, I guess, resilient way to go with it. When I see they didn't blow it up immediately, I think that would have been right for them to use that during well, during their own end step. Okay. I'm going to discard this squee and hmm. Yeah, it's kind of hard to figure out what to get here. I mean, I guess I could get Sadistic Hypnotist and take out their card with it. What's the point, though? I don't know. I guess I'll just have Deranged Hermit. And now I know I could play a couple walls maybe. Yeah, this is pretty awkward. Yeah, having some walls feels right. Just get some additional cards drawn. They can blow up my walls if they want. I don't really care. And actually, I shouldn't have played that swamp until I played out my walls, because I'd rather have a forest right now. That was a sloppy misstep. Yeah, they're being pretty, I don't know, they've been pretty conservative with their deed use. Here they are on their own main phase, cashing it in finally. I'm going to discard Genesis and go get, what, just another Deranged Hermit maybe? No, I'll get Tempting Worm. Yeah, I do wish I had my forest in play instead of that swamp. That was not a good move. I'm sort of stuck with this Gilded Drake now. Alright, what do I want? So, I'm going to have 7 mana in total. I could do basically Wall of Blossoms plus Tempting Worm, or I can just get Graveborn Muse and replay it. I think I'll go for the Muse. Yeah, once again taking the less aggressive approach, but the one that leaves me still very far ahead on resources. So I'll play that, and yeah, here we are. They've got 2 cards. I have 5 plus a really good creature on the board. They have 8 life, I have 17. Really just grinding them out here. They've gone through 2 Pernicious Deeds, so they only have 2 left in the deck, which is pretty limiting for them. Do I want something back here, or do I just want to... I guess I'll target Massacre, but then not use it. Yeah, I'm just going to go full aggressive here. Play the Hermit, play the Worm. I guess I should have played the Worm first just to see what they drop, but I mean, what could it possibly be? They've had tons of mana for many turns. I don't think they have anything useful. They might prove me wrong, though. Yeah, just a Bird of Paradise. Yeah, that's the second sequencing error that I've noticed. Yeah, good thing I'm getting this practice in. Maybe I just need a little more caffeine. Alright, that's it. Yeah, I really buried them quite successfully in Card Advantage that game. Just powered right through the 2 Pernicious Deeds. Okay, so what do I want? Probably Flame Tongue Kavu. Probably Withered Wretch. Probably not Naturalize, because unless we're in the early game, they can probably just blow up their deed right away. Maybe Duress, but it is kind of a bad mid to late game draw. Probably don't want the Cradle because they're blowing a lot of my stuff up. Yeah, one of the big questions is what do I not want? And that's kind of hard to answer. I don't know, maybe the Orangutan? Would they even play artifact-based Graveyard Hate in the deck with Pernicious Deed? Probably not. Sadistic Hypnotist. I guess I want that. It feels like it's not great, but I don't know. Braids seems pretty bad here. It's definitely the kind of deck that could itself play Braids if they found the space for it. And finally, do I want to just get rid of the Gilded Drake? Like it's only actually good if I have Tradewind Rider, and it's also hard to cast. Yeah, between the casting and the requirement of being paired with Tradewind Rider, like they don't have stuff that's big enough to make it worthwhile without being backed up by the combo. You know, it gets like Dreadnought or something. Obviously, I just want their 12/12, but against a deck like that, um, for example, if they have Blastoderm, I can't target that. They have Revidus Baloth, they could just sacrifice that in response. I mean, that would be 2 mana to kill the Baloth, which is not terrible, but I don't know. It just compared to the other stuff, it doesn't seem great. All right, yeah, I'll give that a try. And yeah, taking out the Drake means that I'm still even on splash cards. I've got the Realist, the Rider, and the Kavu, all of which seem quite good, and definitely all a step above Gilded Drake. Yeah, it's a mulligan. That I can keep. A potent mulligan to 6, which is interesting. What do I want to do here? I should assume that they're probably going to take my survival. I mean, it's not so sure of a thing that I should just put it on the bottom, because I need to like make them have it at least. But yeah, what can I put on the bottom instead? I want to keep the wall. I want to keep the therapy. Kind of want to keep the really want to keep the Kabu also. Would it be insane to get rid of survival here in the face of all the discard and just hope to draw a survival later? Is my way to have it? I mean, that doesn't really even save me a card unless they miss on a therapy. I'm going to get rid of a forest. The game's probably going to go long, and I can draw more land. Plus, they mulligan on the play. Yeah, there they are, Swamp Go without any discard. So I feel like that probably made some sense. Anyway, play the therapy. I'm going to name Pernicious Steed. Alright, that's a miss, but we've got some multiples, and I have a naturalize that I can now be fully ready for. Recurring Nightmare, but without any creatures to back it up. Yeah, they really need that land draw there. They're lucky to have gotten that. That's pretty good. How do I want to do this? Okay, so this turn I could play therapy, name Vendetta, and then the following turn I could play Wall of Roots, get a mana out of it, flash it back, taking Naturalize, play Survival. That feels like an effective play. Yeah, just get my 2-for-1 here. Got to make up for that first one missing. Alright, they've got the Nightmare. That is fine. Really don't have anything to do with it right now. There's a Bird of Paradise. Would I rather play Bird in Survival or Wall in Survival? I'd probably rather hold on to the Wall, because I can use it on both players' turns. Yeah, I'll do it this way. Take out the Naturalize. Play the Survival. Bit of lag there. Hopefully that lets up. There we are. Okay. So at this point, they're in a very weak position. All they have is a Smother. They've got this Recurring Nightmare with nothing to feed into it. I can probably just kill it with Monk Realist very shortly. What'd they get? Withered Wretch. Hey, that's pretty good. Kind of gets in the way. But I drew my land, so I'll just kill it. That is one thing I really like about having the splash. I get to play Flametongue Kavu instead of Faceless Butcher, which is just not nearly as good of a card. Like, Flametongue Kavu is far, far better. Oh, they drew another one. And admittedly, a legitimate downside of it is that there are times when it's better to exile than to kill. Though, of course, now that they have two, it really doesn't matter. Alright, how do I want to do this? I think I can start by attacking. Ooh, they're blocking. Okay. That opens the door. I'm going to use this opportunity to kill the Nightmare and keep them off Withered Wretch. Okay, yeah, they see where it's going, and it's over. Alright, awesome. That ran very well, and my splash cards really performed quite nicely, so that was a good match.